Hunter S Thompson saw the last 20 years that we experienced the night of 9/11. Hunter with a rare and base take. It's not rare. Hunter S Thompson wrote this literally exactly. I've talked about this before. I used to post this every 9/11. He wrote this like immediately after 9/11. We're at war now, according to President Bush, and I take him at his word. He also says this war might last for a very long time. Generals and military scholars will tell you that 8 or 10 years is actually not such a long time in the span of human history, which is no doubt true. But history also tells us that 10 years of martial law and wartime economy are going to feel like a lifetime to people who are in their 20s today. Poor bastards of what will forever be known as Generation Z are doomed to be the first generation of Americans who will grow up with a lower standard of living than their parents enjoyed. That is extremely heavy news, and it will take a while for it to sink in. The 22 babies born in New York City while the World Trade Center burned will never know what they missed. The last half of the 20th century will seem like a wild party for rich kids compared to what's coming now. The party's over, folks. That's not even what I was looking for. Hold on. Hunter S. Thompson actually wrote on his blog on 9/11, looking out the... Dude, his 9/11 blog is even more insane, dude. Oh, here it is. On ESPN, page 2, Hunter S. Thompson wrote, "Fear and Loathing in America." I mean, this man, for a guy who said the N-word a lot, he knew what the fuck was going on in the future of America. That's where you got the podcast name? Yeah, no shit. Oh my God, Zoomers, dude. Okay. It was just after dawn in Woody Creek, Colorado, when the first plane hit the World Trade Center in New York City on Tuesday morning, and as usual, I was writing about sports. Not for long. Football seemed suddenly irrelevant compared to the scenes of destruction and other devastation coming out of New York on TV. Even ESPN was broadcasting war news. It was the worst disaster in the history of the United States, including Pearl Harbor, the San Francisco earthquake, and probably the Battle of Antietam in 1862, when 23,000 were slaughtered in one day. The Battle of the World Trade Center lasted about 99 minutes and cost 20,000 lives in 2 hours, according to unofficial estimates of midnight of Tuesday. So, like, that is how, how do you call it? That's how fucking recent it was that he didn't even know, like, what the actual amount of people that had died at that time. It's 3,000, but, like, they didn't even know the official estimate at that point. The final numbers, including those from the supposedly impregnable Pentagon across the Potomac River from Washington, likely will be higher. Anything that kills 300 trained firefighters in 2 hours is a world-class disaster. And it was not even bombs that caused this massive damage. No nuclear missiles were launched from any foreign soil. No enemy bombers flew over New York or Washington to rain death on innocent Americans. No. It was 4 commercial jetliners. They were the first flights of the day from American and United Airlines, piloted by skilled and loyal U.S. citizens, and there was nothing suspicious about them when they took off from Newark, New Jersey, and Dulles in D.C., and Logan in Boston on routine cross-country flights to the West Coast with fully loaded fuel tanks, which would soon explode on impact and utterly destroy the world-famous Twin Towers of downtown Manhattan's World Trade Center. Boom, boom, just like that. The towers are gone now. Reduce to bloody rubble, along with all hopes for peace in our time, in the United States or any other country. Make no mistake about it. We are at war now with somebody, and we will stay at war with that mysterious enemy for the rest of our lives. This motherfucker didn't even know how many people had died. It was so recent. Like, it was so immediately after 9/11. I think it was like literally the night of, where he wrote an article where he didn't even know how many people had actually died. He didn't know the correct estimation. And he was so fucking correct on this. It will be a religious war, a sort of Christian jihad, fueled by religious hatred and led by merciless fanatics on both sides. It will be guerrilla warfare on a global scale with no front lines and no identifiable enemy. Osama bin Laden may be a primitive figurehead or even dead for all we know, but whoever put all those all-American jet planes loaded with all-American fuel into the Twin Towers and the Pentagon did it with chilling precision and accuracy. The second one was a dead-on bullseye straight into the middle of the skyscraper. Nothing, even George Bush's $350 billion Star Wars missile defense system, could have prevented Tuesday's attack. And it cost next to nothing to pull off. Fewer than 20 unarmed suicide soldiers from some apparently primitive country somewhere on the other side of the world took out the World Trade Center and half the Pentagon with 3 quick, costless strikes on one day. The efficiency of it was terrifying. This was published right after 9/11. We're going to punish somebody for this attack. But just who or what will be blown to smithereens for it is hard to say. Maybe Afghanistan, maybe Pakistan, or Iraq, or possibly all 3 at once. Not even the generals in what remains of the Pentagon or New York papers calling for war seem to know who did it or where to look for them. Hunter S Thompson wrote this like the night of 9/11. Okay? This is going to be a very expensive war, and victory is not guaranteed for anyone, and certainly not for anyone as baffled as George W. Bush. All he knows is that his father started the war a long time ago, and that he, the goofy child president, has been chosen by fate and the global oil industry to finish it now. He will declare a national security emergency and clamp down hard on everybody, no matter where they live or why. If the guilty won't hold up their hands and confess, he and the generals will ferret them out by force. Good luck. He's in for a profoundly difficult job. Armed as he is with no credible military intelligence, no witnesses, and only the ghost of bin Laden to blame for the tragedy. Okay, it's 24 hours later now, and we are not getting much information about the 5 W's of this thing. The numbers out of the Pentagon are baffling, as if military censorship has already been imposed on the media. It's ominous. The only news on TV comes from weeping victims and ignorant speculators. The lid is on. Loose lips sink ships. Don't say anything that might give aid to the enemy. Hunter S. Thompson saw the last 20 years that we experienced the night of 9/11.
Hasan, come out. Show the people. You look like the slow kid in the phys ed class, dude. You look like you're about to get destroyed in dodgeball.